Hi everyone, this is seller newsletter number 3 for the spring 2024 sale. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to cover was how payments work for the sale, because this is something people often wonder about. So our sale offers 2 different options for getting paid, PayPal or check. Check is the default method, so if you do not sign up for PayPal, check is how you're going to get your payment. Few things to know about checks. First off, make sure that your address is up to date in the consignor workstation, because that is where it is going to send the check to. So double check that, make sure it is correct, especially if you've moved recently. Also, something to just be aware of with checks, especially for those of you who are maybe a little bit more rural. You probably are already aware that mail has been a little pokey the past couple years, so just be prepared for that. Know that we will process the payment just as quickly as we can on our end, but then we are at the mercy of how fast it gets to you. That is out of our control. So just something to be aware of. We've been seeing checks, especially for more rural folks, taking 2 to 3 weeks to arrive. So just something to be aware of. If you do opt into PayPal, so PayPal, we'd use a system called Mass Payment, and with Mass Payment, we cannot process the payments until the lump sum for everybody receiving the payments is transferred into our PayPal, which takes a couple of days. We start that transfer just as soon as we are able to, but just be aware that we are at the mercy of how quickly PayPal processes that. The past several sales, it's been taking the Friday after the sale to finally transfer over, even though we are starting at like break of dawn Monday morning. So just something to be aware of, that it does take a few days. So ultimately, sometimes the checks and PayPal tend to arrive the same time. I will tell you our preferred method for payment is PayPal, just because then that way it can be done. We don't have to worry about it anymore after it's sent out, but you need to choose the option that is the best choice for you. So if you do want PayPal, there's a link in the newsletter that will that is where you will sign up for PayPal if you are opting into that. Otherwise, you will be getting a check. Do also know that if a check goes missing, gets damaged in the mail, anything like that, that stop payment fee that we will need to, do does carry a $25 or $30 fee. I'd have to double check with our bank to find out what the fees are currently, but that does a fee that is assessed on your end. So just be aware of that if you opt for checks. All right, a few additional notes. If you are a first-time consignor or have not been here for a while, do make sure that you review all of our policies, all of our quality accepted items, how we expect the items to be tagged, all that kind of stuff. Please always ask if you have any questions. If you are a returning seller, make sure to check out the new the sale page on our website. That is going to give you a few things that have changed for the sale. We are now accepting certain kinds of stuffed animals. I cannot emphasize that strongly enough. Most stuffed animals are still a no-go, but we did have a lot of requests for things like Squishmallows or character stuffed animals. So if it is a legit character, that is fine. We are also not accepting any like carnival quality stuffed animals. So if you have any questions about those, ask. If we get a ton of stuffed animals, we're gonna have to be extra picky. So just, only the stuff that is likely to sell. I do not have any interest in having a mountain of stuffed animals at the sale. We are also going to be accepting closed system used breast pumps. And then there is a link on the website that'll take you to what some of those are. Things like Medela, those are open system. What all that means is that they are a system that allows milk to backflow into the system. So they're really not sanitary to resell to a new person after they've been used. We did opt to start accepting closed system breast pumps again. Before, we were only accepting new and packaged, but we felt there was enough interest in the used ones for closed system ones that we will allow those. All right, so a couple of tips as you are getting your items ready to go, especially if you are feeling overwhelmed, not sure where to start. We wanted to give you a few tips that might make it run a little smoother for you. These are things that I personally have found that work. I strongly encourage you to get in on our Facebook group, the Registered Sellers page, because there's lots of seasoned sellers in there who might have different ideas, different strategies that you might find helpful. One popular thing is to sort your items by size first. So go through your items, get all of your girl 5T, girl 6T, boy newborn, boy 3-month, whatever, all stacked together, because as you enter items, it is going to automatically keep the size and the category as you're going through. And so that'll save you a little bit of time entering items. So some folks like to do it that way. If you are entering, this is my probably biggest tip, and it was one I learned the very hard way. If you are entering a ton of items, so if it is your first time selling, especially, or if you're, really doing a big purge, anything like that, what I strongly recommend is entering and then tagging in chunks, rather than entering all of your items and then tagging all of your items. And the reason I say that is because one of my first sales, I entered a ton of items. And what happened is that once I started tagging, I felt like I didn't know for sure what I meant by certain tags. I got very overwhelmed. I couldn't find them. I ended up having to re-enter. I wasted a lot of time. So what I personally do will kind of get one manageable stack of stuff, get them entered, print them off, tag them, get them moved out of the way. That's my personal strategy and what I strongly recommend, but you will find what works for you. Just with that, if you are worried about getting all of your items entered on time, you will be able to print tags after the item entry system closes. So if that is a concern, then go ahead and get all your items entered now. But just if you've still got plenty of time right now. So that's my personal strategy. Speaking of tag descriptions, these are actually way more important than some people realize. So this is a really good spot. First off, it's really important that you describe the item well, so that we are able to reattach tags to items. Tags, even well tagged items, are going to lose their tags at some point during the sale. It is just by the nature of having literally hundreds of shoppers touching every item. But if you tag your item well, not only if we find that tag can I often match it back up, but I can system search and often find the item that you meant. But for example, if you have a blue Nike Royal shirt, I don't know if they're Nike, Under Armour, whatever they are, and you put blue shirt, I'm not going to be able to confidently match those items. If you have blue Nike Royal shirt and it's the proper size, I know that that's probably the correct item that goes to. So that's why it's super important that you give a good description. Also think about using that description for things that are going to catch a buyer's eye. So if it is a popular team, if it's a popular brand, popular character, things like new with tags for sure highlight on there. Anything like that, that is a great thing to put in the description, because shoppers are flying through those items. Key things that are going to catch their eye, that are going to make them want to grab your item, are always a good way to go. Please do not save all of your item entering for the last minute. We do close our item entry down April 7th at 10 p.m. However, most of our recent sales we've had to actually close down early. The reason that we do that is because we know our sale well enough to know that we are going to reach a point where it is just not realistic for us to sell the items that are in the building. And it starts to just get overcrowded, overwhelming. You end up just having a lower percentage of your items sell, which is not what we want to do when you've done all that work to prepare. We will give a warning before we do that. So if we have not warned you and the system's not working, it's because the system's not working. Just let me know. We will give you a 5,000 item warning, which usually comes out to be about a day's notice. Of course, I can't guarantee that. But so I strongly encourage you to for sure get your high demand items, the things you definitely do want to get rid of, get them entered right now, even if you don't have time to sit down and do everything. Okay, a couple other things. Volunteer sign up is now open. So consigners at our sale get to shop at 6:30 the night before the sale. So on April 12th, you'll get to shop at 6:30 with your seller pass. But if you want to shop even earlier and then be able to share that pass with somebody else, please consider volunteering. Our consigners typically make some of our best volunteers because you have skin in the game and you also have a kind of come in with an understanding of our sale. So a well-staffed sale also helps items sell better, helps shoppers move through more quickly. We really encourage you to sign up and sign up soon. We have a few shifts that have already capped out. So if you are wanting to be able to volunteer, we encourage you to go ahead and snag your volunteer spot sooner rather than later. And that can be done right in your consigner workstation. You do not need to make a separate volunteer account to do that. A few additional quick notes. Remember that you need to have a drop-off appointment. Remember, this drop-off appointment is their 15-minute windows that they're made in, but you need to allow yourself usually about 30 to 45 minutes to put your items away on the floor. It depends, of course, on how many items you have and how quickly you work, but that's kind of the average. There are volunteers to help you put items away, but it is your responsibility to get them out onto the floor. There is a drop and run option that is on our website if you are needing that option. That is an extra fee because that is something that we don't have the manpower to do for everybody. Also, unless you're planning to donate all of your unsold items, make sure you do make a pickup appointment. And if you are not going to be able to pick up your items, we encourage you to either donate all unsold or have a friend come pick up for you. That is always fine. All right, I think that is it. If you have joined us since the last sale, please make sure you go back and either watch the other videos or read the other newsletters to make sure you're up to date on everything. Items have been coming in like crazy, so I can see that things are working well and people are getting items under. So please reach out if you have any questions, and we will be seeing you in a few weeks.